Hi, welcome back to the Crafty Hen House. My name is Elaine. I have you outside today in my garden. I have cleaned out all of my garden bed. The final things that I had in there was my Nata Pina peppers. These are terrific little peppers. They're kind of like a jalapeno, but they are not. They're not hot at all. Very, very good on pizza, on salads, fried up with eggs. You can put them virtually in anything, but this is what I had left. My plants were pretty much all bloomed out and ready to be pulled. So what I've decided to do is take my boxes. It's September here in South Florida, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant flowers. I haven't had the greatest of luck planting calendula, bachelor's buttons. I'm going to plant some Coreopsis, which is our native wildflower here in Florida. So I thought what I would do is I'd use up my boxes during the hot months, and I will go ahead and plant some flowers. And these are the flowers that I've decided to plant. So these are my 3 boxes that I built out of pallets, and I put a liner in them to protect the wood from the dirt and hopefully give them a little bit more longevity. And this is another one. It was a smaller pallet, so of course it's a little lower. And then I have my 3rd one. In this planter, I have mint, spearmint. Right here, this plant, I just pulled out all the rest of my peppers out of here. I'm going to be planting some Bachelor Buttons. I have some sunflowers, busy bee sunflowers. I have Coreopsis. Coreopsis is our native flower here in Florida. And I have some polar bear zinnias, and these I've never grown before. Now in the next box over, I have calendula. You can see that I started spreading this. This is a Pacific Beauty mix. I also have a calendula with the orange king. I have butterfly weed. Here's another calendula that I've cast throughout. Back here we have bee balm, spotted bee balm. At the front we have a crimson clover. And in the front we have some marigolds, and you can see where I have cast some of the marigold seeds, and they've kind of spread between some of the other flowers. I also took some of this clover and I broadcast it in the first box, and you can see some of the seeds here and a little back here. Of course, the zinnias, these ones had to be set in. You can see my little pockets that I set in. And then in my 3rd box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cups, which I've grown in before, and I'm going to fill them. I went ahead and I drilled holes in them for drainage. I'm going to fill these with dirt and soil and some good potting mix, and set them all inside this planter. And then I'm also at this very end, I think I'm going to broadcast some of these. These are called buckwheat, Tacane Ruby, and they're Baker's Creek heirloom seeds. And most of all of these seeds, if not all of them, came from Bear Creek. The only ones that did not come from Baker Creek. The only ones that didn't come from Baker Creek heirloom seeds are the Bachelor's Buttons, and they're burpee. I found those at Home Depot. And I believe the sunflowers are also, yes, the sunflowers are also burpee. I found those at Home Depot as well, just to give them a try. This is my sister's favorite flower, and I had planted them in a planter out front, and they didn't do as well. Now the reason that I'm planting out here in my garden with all of these flowers is because if you look straight out to the back, whoops, right over here, you'll see my beehive. And all of these flowers very much attract bees or any pollinators. Along my back fence line, you can see along here, I have blueberries, blackberries, a queen's wreath, and then I have alternating different blueberries and Texas sage all the way down to the very end tree, and that is my mulberry tree. So having this flower garden right here where my bees can have easy access, I'm hoping it will just grow exponentially over the next few months. And while I have you out here today in my garden, I'm going to go ahead and take you on a quick journey of some of the flowers I have in the backside of my property around my bees. Now, not all of them are attract bees. They're just beautiful and they bloom seasonally. So let me take you on a journey and I'll show you the different flowers that I have. So out here, as we start to walk towards the back of the property where the bees are, this is what is called a bougainvillea. These are thorny and they come in all different shades. This one happens to be like a pink fuchsia, and I also have a lavender, and they grow like a hedge. And this one is also a pink, and somewhere within this mess I have a red one, but they grow just beautifully. This is a mixture of a croton and other plants. It was actually a plant that my mother had bought and sent to my father-in-law in 2010, and when he passed, I brought the plant here and planted it in remembrance of him. So it's growing beautifully, and you can just see all the different plants that the florist had put in with the crotons. So this has been here since 2010, so this is 11 years old. This is a pink hibiscus. This also grows as a bush. You want to keep it trimmed. The bees don't actually go to this, but you get other pollinators. Isn't that gorgeous? That's a pink hibiscus. And this is also a hibiscus here, which is not blooming. And woven in here, this right here is not supposed to be here. There's some buds. This vine actually goes underground and it comes into this plant. And this is called a flaming clerodendron. This gets very, very bright red burst of flowers, but it's very invasive and it usually blooms around Christmas time. It's absolutely beautiful. And then this tree right here is called a yellow tababuya. We have a little friend getting a drink. And then as we come over, we come towards my bees. And this is my bees. They're out on the porch today. You can see them. They're doing what's called as washboarding. Nobody really knows why they do the washboarding, but they do come out when it gets very hot. And we're almost about 90 today, so of course, you know, they're gonna come out. This right here is a gardenia. Of course, it's not blooming. It usually blooms towards the fall more. And here's our swing on our oak tree, and I have my orchids are all hanging from the tree. And they love it under here because it's shady. It's so hot otherwise. This is a beautiful purple orchid. And then we come to all of my other berries on the back side of the property. These are blueberries, and we just transplanted those. And then I have little signs. This is a little blackberry. This is a Navajo thornless blackberry. And this one has not produced yet this year. And right next to it, I have an Osage thornless blackberry. And we have actually gotten some blackberries off from this one that I actually had one today. And they need each other because one is a pollinator and one needs the other to pollinate. And then we come across here, this right here is called a Queen's Wreath. It's a vining ornamental. You get some beautiful pink clusters of flowers on it. And then we go down to my other blueberries. This is a Sunshine Blue blueberry. And this is my Texas Sage. These get beautiful little purple flowers on that. This is a blueberry. This is called a Sharp Blue blueberry. And this is a self-pollinator. This one here, my Sunshine, is not. They need each other to pollinate. Well, the Sharp Blueberry does not need, because it's a self-pollinator, but the Sunshine Blue needs the cross-pollination. And then I have another one of my Texas Sage, another one, and then two more of the same blueberries. I have a Sharp Blue and another Sunshine Blue blueberry. And you see my little bee buzzing on that one. He's looking for flowers, which is a good sign. And then this right here is my mulberry. This will bloom out. It's getting some little ones now. And that will start, we can pick those around November. As you can see, it's getting some silkworms. And this tree, when I first got it, it really took a while for me to control the silkworms because it was so small. It actually lost every single leaf it had on it. But now it's substantial, so it can kind of take care of itself. By the time the silkworms are done, it's rejuvenating new leaves, as you can see. And we are all planted. One last thing that I do to the beds, because I'm exposed out here to all the little critters and the elements, is I go ahead and I put a nylon mesh covering on them and I nail it down. It just gives the seeds an opportunity to begin growing before the squirrels drop all their nuts and bury them in the flower beds, or birds come in and pick up all the seeds. And it just gives my guys and my girls a fighting chance, and hopefully they will bloom beautifully and we'll be able to check and see within the next couple months if we have had any success. There's all my tomatoes. These two are Campari, and this is a cherry tomato, and these. And then once they start to grow up, I'll go ahead and I'll pull the cups out and thin them and end up putting them in 5-gallon buckets outside of this flower bed. And I'm hoping to, once those have sprouted and I can transplant those, I would like to go ahead and try to plant some leaf lettuces in here and see if I can't repurpose this little flower bed until the next growing season starts. So I hope you can get a real understanding of my purpose for planting, the way that I've done the flower gardens, and the different fruiting bushes and fruiting trees. I'm hoping to create an environment that my bees will love. They'll have plenty of food. And I also might add that I'm trying to plant, because I live in South Florida, I'm trying to plant so that we have a rotation in our flowering plants or our vegetables, so they constantly have food and that I don't have to substitute their food with sugars. I'll give you a little peek at the front part of my house, and I'll take you on a journey of my flowers and my trees on another day.